Hi everyone, this is GOL from Productions², and welcome to our Gnomoria walkthrough. The reason I'm doing Gnomoria is because I was just looking for kind of a break from RPGs and shooters. I didn't want to go for another RTS just yet because we've had several of those, and we hadn't had any simulation games yet, or even puzzle games. Well, I guess we had one puzzle game. We had Portal, but that's the only one. But we haven't had any simulation games yet, so I wanted to get one in here. Let me go ahead and turn down the volume here real quick. It's not too loud. And Gnomoria fits that bill. Gnomoria is a simulation game, essentially an empire simulation game, empire building simulation game. You start out with a certain number of gnomes and certain supplies and such, and with those you use them to create your empire. That's really all there is to this game. So it could be a long game, or it could be a long walkthrough rather, or a short walkthrough. It all depends on what happens. Because you can lose, essentially. If you lose all of your gnomes, it's game over. Basically, your empire falls. So this could be a really short walkthrough, or it could be a really long one. I'm gonna play it until either the wheels fall off, essentially meaning probably, let's say a max of 80 hours, we'll say, of actual gameplay in the walkthrough, or until all my gnomes die, or until the game starts crashing to the point where I can't continue. That actually happened on a previous walkthrough I had been doing for this. I actually had 10 hours worth of walkthrough, and I had to stop it because my game would not stop crashing at a certain point. That was on the different version. 2 versions ago. We're on version 0.8.15 now. This game is still in alpha, I think. I think that's how they described it, as an alpha build. So there are still things there are bugs and there are other issues that are present. I haven't played this version yet, so there are probably going to be some new things and probably new bugs as well that we'll find. But let's go ahead and talk about some of these options. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete these because they don't work in this. Land of Rakes was the one that I had started previously, but these won't work in this one now. Due to it being a new version, so older save games don't work. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the kingdom creation screen here. We have the kingdom name, which is randomized, or you can put in your own. The kingdom size. Right now, if you go with huge or large, you're going to have a lot of lag eventually, because the game is single-threaded. It's not multi-threading. It doesn't have multi-threading, so it's not going to take advantage of any extra threads. It's all going to run in one thread, and so it's going to take a lot of even my computer. If I do a huge map, about by year 2, there's tons of lag, even with my strong computer here. So I'm actually going to do a standard map this time. I did a large one last time. The kingdom seed determines, along with the kingdom center, determines what is in the map and how it looks, how it's built, and what's contained within it. For instance, certain kingdom seeds have flatter terrain. Others have more hilly terrain. Some have more precious metals near the top, higher layers, while others have them and have the more uncommon and common metals much lower than others. Also, the kingdom center affects that. I'm not sure how exactly it affects it, but it does. For example, a kingdom center of 0,0 with that kingdom seed is going to produce a different map than the seed with a kingdom center of 1,1, or even 1,0 or 0,1. So it's really just kind of playing around with it to find what you like best, or just letting it do whatever. And then you have the game mode. There are 2 modes. There's peaceful and normal. In peaceful, the only thing you have to worry about is running out of food or water, because there are no enemies at all. It's just you building the empire and thriving or dying based on your food and water supplies. In normal, though, you do have the possibility of getting totally owned by goblins or golems at some point in time. Um, the game I was playing before the last one that I was doing the walkthrough for, I actually had that happen. I had a goblin come in with an axe, and before my soldiers could get to it, it pretty much killed every other one of my gnomes and one of my soldiers. And that kind of just caused society to break down because there were no more workers to forage and gather food from the farms, because soldiers cannot do anything once you apply them to a military squad. They don't. They lose their ability to do their previous assigned jobs or any jobs at all. It's actually a bug, I think. I'm not sure if it's still present in this version, but it was in the previous one. But you also, including the enemies, you have to worry about food and water as well. So we're going to be doing a normal game mode. Let's go ahead and get a different name here. There are some really, really strange names. For instance, there's one in here called the Incest Kingdom. Land of Holes. Let's see. Dirty Hair. Land of Ages. That sounds kind of good. We'll go with that one. Land of Ages. And we'll go ahead and generate the map. So the first thing you want to do, though, is you want to, well, it depends on how you're going to play. If you're going to play building a fortress outside of like from the ground up, then you're going to want to start by building a sawmill, so you can get logs and stuff. But if you're going to, like me, build your empire inside of a mountain, or your base inside of a mountain, then you need to start with digging. And well, you also do need to build the wood cutter and stone cutter workshops, but at the same time, you don't need to worry about that right away, because you're going to be digging into the mountain right from the onset, really. So we have a map here. It's kind of flat in some areas, hilly in others. I actually like this style. There's a lot of open terrain here that we can use, and a lot of trees. Let's see how far up this hill goes. Not too far, up to 11, but let's see, up to 8. That's not really an issue. Just kind of going over and looking at the map here. There's an interesting thing here. Kind of a pit, if you will. Lots of apple trees, that's good. It's because apple trees will provide you not only with wood and clippings so you can grow more trees, but also with apples. Whereas the other trees only provide you with a log and a cutting when you chop them down. And there's a lot of stuff we can forage here as well. So this map looks pretty good, actually. It's probably one of the better maps I've seen. It's a lot flatter. Most of the stuff is within reach of where we would put the entrance over here. So we only have to have one entrance this time. So it should be good. So let's look over here. We have our gnomes here, our supplies, and we also start off with 2 yaks, but only 2 yaks. An important thing to mention is that yaks can only be, or rather pastures for animals can only be made outside on grass tiles. Tiles that don't have any grass on them, like these clay floors, can be replaced with dirt, but they take time to get overgrown by grass. It depends on how much rain there is, really. Sometimes what some people do is they go ahead and build, like, say, like right down here, they'll build their empire on like a tile like this or something, right on the water, where there's only one entrance for goblins to get through. That actually is a pretty sound tactic. I might actually consider doing that. What I'm actually going to do is we're going to start by building we're going to go from the top down here instead of from the middle in. Because if we go from top down, goblins still have to come through one area here. They can't, you know, come around and sneak up on us or anything. I guess it really doesn't matter because most of the time goblins are going to be attacking people outside of your base anyway. So, I don't know how we'll start this. It's always an issue to have to try and figure out how to start off a map. Trying to figure out the strategy of the map, which is really depending on how what the layout of the map is. This looks like that's the second highest mountain, I think. We could start on this one. It's a higher mountain. But we're closer to this one, so I think it might be a better choice. However, I don't want to rule out building a fortress or a secondary kind of thing somewhere else. I really have no clue. But I think we'll go ahead and start from the top down this time instead of going from the middle in. So what we'll do is, first we have to do some trying to get the clock up. Here we go. On my LCD screen here, so I can keep watching the time. But the first thing we need to do is we need to do some maintenance kind of stuff here with professions. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and real quick bring the audio back up a bit. Say 30 will probably do good. Population professions. The first thing you want to do is actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to do anything with it. Well, I will do something. I'm going to add, oops, metal to miners, and I'm also going to add constructing as well. And I'm going to do that with all of these, adding construction in. Of course, we also have the builder class, which is going to be carrying out that role too, but having everyone doing construction can also help a lot as far as getting things built. Because you will not always have enough builders to get things built when you need them to be, so it's always good to have them have extra builders ready to work on stuff. Right. I'm also going to create a new profession, call it Doctor, and take off everything else here. Except for those. Alright, so status. Assign. We have pretty much a somewhat equal distribution there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to terrain, dig, and stairs down. And we're going to put those pretty much right in the middle here. Also, you can use the context menu, you can use this menu here, or you can use hotkeys. I have hotkeys set for some of the stuff, so if you don't see me using either of those, that's what's going on. Pastures, really we need to figure out where to put this pasture at. I think what we'll do is we'll clear this area over here. Or we could go over here with the pasture. But I want to try and keep it near the base. So I think what we'll do is we'll go agriculture, forage. We'll start off by clearing out this area here. And we'll also go agriculture, fell trees, and over that same distance there. We'll chop all those trees down, and we'll put the pasture here. Your animals won't go away right away, so you can take a little bit of time. But I'm actually going to go ahead and also do the pasture, though. Start at the pastures to hold those two for the moment. We'll go leave them where they are at right now. You can mess around with the ratios if you want to. At the beginning, it's not really very good to do so. You want to change these more towards the middle of the game when your ranchers have a higher animal husbandry rating, so that you can have more females and males to produce more yak milk. To present a credible renewable source of drinks, along with a well that we'll build a little bit later. But we have that stairs down, and that's going to dig into here. I'm also going to do some more stairs down though. Alright, this will be our first area, I think, here. So let's go ahead and get started. And the way you play this game is you give your guys tasks to complete, and they complete those tasks based on whatever their skills are, and where what they're set to do. You don't directly control the gnomes, so stupid things can happen a lot of the time, and they usually do happen a lot of the time. But we're gonna go ahead and clear out a little bit of this room. Let's go and do the same thing with this one. Just open up a little bit of these areas here. Alright, then we'll start by really opening up this area. It'll be our first large section here. Alright, where were we? Let's see. Oh, actually, let's bring this up so I have that instead. Ah, crap, now put it off the clock, out the clock. There we go. Alright, so we were in the process of mining out these places. Let's go ahead and put it back going on here. So, let's go over some of the interface here. Over here you have the time of day, the year, and the month and day of, or rather, the season and day of the season. Each season has 12 days. There are 4 seasons to a year, so that's 12 times 4, which is 36 days to a year in this game. The clock is based off of obviously a military time clock, or maybe international time. I'm not sure, but then over here you have the depth, the food, and drink. Depth tells you at which layer that you're currently looking at. That's the highest in relation to where the camera is. For us, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and then negatives for when you go underground. Food is the number of food items that you have on the entire map, not just in your stockpiles, but on the entire map. And same with drinks. Drinks you can build a well for, so that you don't have to worry about it. If you have a well and you go down to 0 drinks, you have the gnomes will go to the well to drink. However, food doesn't have that same kind of backup. You have to make sure you stock up food for the winter. The easiest way to deal with food is just to grow the farms inside of your fortress. If we're doing it inside of the, we're doing this kind of approach that I am here. I'm just gonna go designate area, dining room, great hall. And this will make them come over here while they're idling, because this is essentially where they're gonna be at. What we're gonna do now is gonna mine this wall here. I'm essentially going to mine the rest of this area out. And preserve the outer layers. So we have some amount of security, if you will. Security, not really security integrity. And what we're going to do is over here we will build our first workshops. We'll put the sawmill. Actually, we need stone first, don't we? Damn. So I actually need to find some stone first. So let's go ahead and alright, so we got some stone here. And we also got a little bit of copper here as well. I'm just going to go ahead and mine out a little area of each of these rooms. Copper at 0 though. That's pretty good. Usually don't get that that early. Some coal there that'll come in handy later. So now we can build that workshop over here. Sawmill. I need 10 raw stone. We'll go ahead and put it right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a stockpile. And this is where all your items will be kept in stockpiles. It doesn't necessarily have to be only one stockpile. As a matter of fact, I recommend you don't only use one. What we're going to do is we're going to extend this out all the way. Leave this area here open. And we will stock wood here and planks. So we'll just do wood entirely. That'll be kept here. We're also going to put in some crates. You start with 2 crates, 2 bags, and 2 barrels. So we're going to put those 2 crates here. What I like to do is I like to put the workshops near the stockpiles themselves for both the the items going in and the items going out. So logs and planks will be going here. Let's go ahead and go down. Let's see where we're at here. This floor here. Actually, let's go down to this floor. Because this is the first floor where we have any kind of stone at. And once they clean out this area, we're going to turn this into the stockpile for stone. Raw stone. As you can see, they'll at the beginning here, they'll just sleep wherever they're at until you get the rooms made. Let's also go ahead and extend this pasture. Now you can do what I like to do with this and build something around here to like wall them in, but for now I'm just going to leave it like it is here. It really depends upon when you're attacked. Depends upon the seed. I've had maps where I've been attacked for the entire first year, and sometimes you get attacked right away by goblins, but usually the consensus is that by at least fall you're going to have start being attacked by goblins. But that's not always the case. It also depends on the worth of your kingdom as well. The more your kingdom is worth, the more attacks you're going to have to face. So that's something to keep in mind. And your kingdom will naturally increase in value over time as you build more things and store more items, stockpile more items. So what I want to do is we'll use this for the farm area. So we're actually going to extend this out a bit. So we'll put farms in here. Right now, coal and copper are not going to be that really that useful until a little bit later, but they will become very. Coal is very useful. I guess there's 3 crates. Interesting. Unless one hasn't been moved over yet. No, they're both moved over. Wow. So let's go ahead and move that 3rd one over here too. Yeah, let's go ahead and move everything over for the moment. You can deconstruct those storage items to move them around if you want to, though. But for now, I'm just going to move them all over here. Build, storage, bag. Let's see, let's go over kind of what stuff is stored in. Cotton and seeds get stored, well, cotton seeds and wheat and other fabrics, well, I think it's just cotton, llama hair, I think they're called, alpaca, that's what they're, alpacas. So, cotton, alpaca hair, or wool, and seeds, and clippings all get stored inside of bags. And these are clippings here. They essentially allow you to grow new trees. Logs, food, and pretty much everything else gets stored inside of crates, while drinks are stored inside of barrels. Most of the stuff that you create, furniture and all that, will not be able to be stored in any kind of container. They'll take up, you know, 1 tile per thing, usually. There are some that can be stored, I think. Some equipment can be stored. I'm not entirely sure on that, I haven't tried it before. But I do think that some equipment can be stored inside of crates. Tools as well. Stone, you know, raw stone. This stuff, dirt, clay, metals, raw metals, and ingots, as well as gemstones and cut gemstones can all be stored inside of crates as well. And so can cut or blocks, which are essentially processed raw stone. Those can be stored inside of crates too. I think that about covers everything, really. For right now, we're going to... Let me see. So farmers, we gotta wait for the miners to... Well, they're all asleep, so... Damn. So what I'm gonna do is we're going to terrain, replace floor while we're waiting here. Already got 520 dirt clumps, so we're going to replace all these clay floor panels here with dirt ones, so they can begin to be